cyan is a blue color. It's one of the primary colors. And in its natural mineral form, it is blue. So it gets this cyano, meaning it's a blue compound, cyanocobalamin. It's a blue, when you look at it under refractive light, it turns blue. There's no cyanide in the product at all, nor is there any involved in the manufacture of it.
There is, you know that long word you were saying, can you say that again one more time?
Cyanocobalamin?
Yes, I had a distributor who was actually complaining. She had MS and she recently joined. She went on the internet and she checked on the products and said the products had synthetic material. They were made out of synthetic material, which was that. And she wanted to know why it was not made out of natural sources. But now she's actually leaving Neolife because she said she trusted me, but obviously I hadn't actually really deeply looked into the ingredients. Just like to know if there is any natural sources.
If there's any natural sources?
That you can make the...
well, you can get it from the same place we get it, brewer's yeast. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So if she doesn't, it's a form of brewer's yeast or baker's yeast, yeah. So the way that these things are made is they're actually biosynthetically made by the organism. Every bit of you don't make B12. Neither do any of the plants or animals that you consume make B12. It's made by microorganisms in the plant or the animal or the soil. Okay, so she can get it from yeast, or if you know a lot of things like liver, it tends to pool up in the liver of animals and things like that. But there aren't any really great sources besides those. There's a lot of confusion in the marketplace out there on these sorts of things, because people assume that, first of all, there's people who will tell a story to unsell you on this in order to sell you on that. Okay, so there's that issue, and then there's people who think everything is the same, that all B12 is B12, and there's people that think that all of the raw materials that you would use to make a product are the same, and as you can see, we do things quite differently. So. Again, there's no cyanide in any of our products, and you know, there's nothing in there that I would consider to be synthetic or unnatural. Maybe a better way to put it would be unnatural to human metabolism, in the sense that whether it's biosynthetic or chemically synthetic can be different. We biosynthesize stuff all the time. We biosynthesize muscle. That's how we build it. We make it out of amino acids. All of our B vitamins come from yeast, from a plant source. They come through the yeast mechanism. And matter of fact, all of the B12 in the world, in you and in the plants around you, is all a product of biotechnology. Other organisms produce it, okay? In our particular case, it comes from, it starts as a plant source. And if you look at the way it's cyanocobalamin, right? If you look at and start breaking that down, it's a plant source that uses carbohydrates and proteins as a starting material, and through a series of biochemical reactions produces vitamin B12. These biochemical reactions happen in plants or in animals, okay? But they happen the same way. So in this particular case, we start with this plant-based medium, and then it's exposed to this compound cobalamin, okay? And cobalamin sounds like cobalt, right? And is closely related, but actually isn't cobalt, but it's closely related. And cobalamin provides a ring. Basically, it's a six-sided object in chemistry that is the bonding points for all of these other things that go on that produce cyanocobalamin. We actually have an answer in the office that goes, if somebody's interested, in our standard answers, it goes through and explains it on a step-by-step basis. B vitamins are critically important in people that are suffering from MS. And sometimes you find a situation where somebody is trying to sell you some other form of B12. There are other forms of B12 besides that, and it's going to be another one of these pre-methylated forms of B12. But unless she has the polymorphism, the change in her genetic material, she probably shouldn't embrace that sort of form of B12.
Thank you so much.